Love God and neighbor with all your heart, with all our hearts, with all my heart. Dear friends, in today's liturgy, we get inspiration from the Gospel of Mark chapter 12, verses 28 to 34. And in the Jewish context, besides the Ten Commandments as a way of life, following the Ten Commandments means having life. Besides the Ten Commandments, there were other many precepts and small or big laws which had you should do this and you should not do this, the do's and the don'ts. And often these laws, these many precepts were debated. Which one is the most important? We're looking at all these laws and precepts and commandments. And so we see in this context the scribe, who always one of those who always had challenges with Christ, especially also with the Pharisees. But the scribe wanted clarity, and he came to know what really matters in God's eyes. What is it that should help me to get closer to God and help me to be at peace with others? And so Jesus gives a simple, profound answer. Jesus says, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, meaning with the whole of you, or with the whole person of who you are and what you do, with the whole body. And immediately Jesus adds that the second commandment, you should love your neighbor as yourself. We love ourselves so much that we don't want anything bad to happen to us. And so this is what Jesus challenges us, that we should love our neighbor the way we love ourselves, meaning doing good to others the way we want others to do good to us. And Jesus concludes, no other commandment is greater than these. No other commandment is greater than loving God and loving neighbor with all our heart, mind, soul, and with all our strength, with all our whole being. Dear friends, this gospel message gives us the heartbeat of every Christian life. If we want to be truly a Christian, we're invited to learn the art of loving God and loving others with all our heart, mind, soul, and with all our strength. And when Jesus says, you shall love your God with all your heart, he means loving God completely without calculating, not only when it is convenient, not only when everything is okay, but even when everything is not okay, to love God because we know God is our strength, is the master, is the overall supreme controller of everything. And when we love him, doing what he wants, we will be happy. All will be well with us when we follow the commandments, when we love God. And loving God here, dear friends, we also means with the entire life. And loving God becomes the center of our lives. When we love someone, like in this case we are loving God, when we love someone, that person becomes the center of our lives. Just imagine a love between the husband and wife. For the husband, the wife is the center. For the wife, the husband is the center. For the parents, the children are the center. For the children, the parents are the center. And for friends, friends are the center. And so dear, loving God means God is the center. If we put God first, everything will fall in line. Everything will be okay. All will be well with us because we will know that no matter what happens to us, God is in control of every situation, even the most difficult situations. And so, dear friends, we see that loving God is about a relationship, a bond, a connection. It is not separable. Loving God is about a relationship. And immediately after speaking about loving God, Jesus says, love your neighbor as something equally important. I cannot say that I love God alone and I forget about the neighbor, or I love the neighbor alone and I forget about God. No, all is important, is inseparable. We cannot separate the love of God and the love of neighbor. All goes together. When I love God, automatically I should love the neighbor. When I love the neighbor, automatically I should love God. And sometimes dear friends, we hear people say, I love God, but I struggle to love the people. The other person, the other one does bad. So, but I love God. This is what we hear people. And dear friends, this is something we have to learn. You would have seen also a husband who says, I love my wife. That should be the priority. But then, or the wife says, I love my husband, and that should be the priority. And when a wife says, I love God, and because I go I participate a lot in the activities of the church, I am the leader of this, I am doing that, and all, which is good. I'm also offering charitable services here and there, which is good. But if he abandons the family, he abandons the husband and wife, he abandons the children, because charity begins at home, then what I'm doing outside there seems to be a kind of not complete. So Jesus makes it clear that our love for God must be visible in the way we love, in the way we forgive each other, in the way we treat others. How do I treat the people around me? If I treat them well, then I'm loving God, because God is present in the people around me. So loving our neighbor, but only love of the neighbor is not only about our family, it's not only about our friends or the people who agree with us. Yes, that's also part of it. Our neighbor includes everyone. Loving a neighbor means including everyone around us, even those who do not agree with us, to pray for them, even our enemies. That means loving God. To forgive as an expression of love, because forgiveness is not weakness. Sometimes people think that forgiveness is weakness. No, it's not weakness. Forgiveness is freedom. When I forgive, I want to be free. I want to liberate myself and liberate others. When I forgive and let go, I want to be peaceful. I want to be in harmony. I want to find relieved. I want to be happy. The best way to find happiness is forgiveness and is love. So in daily life, dear friends, loving neighbor can mean simple things like speaking kindly of others, being gentle with others instead of being harsh and rude and tough. Loving neighbor means being flexible, trying to understand the struggles of the other, and then that is loving God means not being rigid. When we love our neighbor, it means helping someone who is struggling, forgiving those who hurt us, learning how to forgive them, and learning to be patient with ourselves, with others, and with God, and learning to dialogue, to talk, to share about the small things and the big things. Dear friend, these small acts of love can make a big difference in someone's life. In other words, we learn that the scribe answers well. Loving God and the neighbor is more important than the sacrifices and then the offerings and the things that we are doing. The sacrifice and offerings are very good, but here we hear that the love is more important than the sacrifices and the actions that we do. In other words, external religious practices, what we do externally alone, are not enough. God does only rituals. God wants us to have a warm, loving heart, hospitable heart that welcomes all. Not only the one of following external rituals, though for doing things externally is also very important. But God wants us to be warm at heart on how we relate with others. We can attend church regularly. We can even have many prayers. We can even follow many rituals of how we are praying. But if we fail to love others, we miss the essence of God's commandment of love. Our essence, our faith, we can say that we believe. The true faith is shown on how we live and how we love with all our heart. And so our world today, dear friends, often struggles with the division. It struggles with a lot of anger, misunderstandings, crisis that takes place in different ways. And in such a challenging world and situation, the message of Jesus is clear, inviting us to love more, and love becomes more important. Imagine what if our families and communities and societies would look like if everyone sincerely practiced with all our heart, with all our life, the love of God and neighbor. Our families will be like heaven on earth, because where there is love, there is God. So there would be more peace, not war. When we love each other, there will be more peace. When we love each other, there will be more compassion. I would feel and understand the struggles of the other, and we journey together. When we love, there will be more unity, not division. There will be more forgiveness, not revenge. And so Jesus tells us that the whole Christian life is summarized in love, and loving God and loving others from all our heart. We ask today, dear friends, do I truly love God and others with all my heart and with all my strength? Greetings from Jerusalem, dear friends.